So Ben Shapiro's latest video today is about Andrew Tate and how he is a con artist and that's the reason why the right should dump him. And spoiler alert, it's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. He's only gonna get bigger on the right. And I'll tell you why. Because this has happened before. Ben Shapiro, back in 2015, 2016, did the exact same thing regarding Trump. He didn't support Trump. He made videos about the lack of Trump's character and what a creep he is and all the things that he did that were so immoral. How Trump was also a con artist, how he was a cheater, how he stiffed his workers and his wife. But all of that went by the wayside soon as Trump got power. Then Ben Shapiro didn't give a shit about the fact that he was incredibly immoral. He jumped on the bandwagon and became MAGA because he wanted that power. And the same exact thing is going to happen with Andrew Tate. Why? Because conservatives don't actually give a fuck about family values and morals. It's all a facade, folks. Listen to this really short clip of Ben Shapiro saying that conservatives are going to have to explain this.
He made his money grooming women for the industry. Now, all the people on the right who are very upset, correctly, about the grooming gangs in Britain are going to have to explain why they're okay with his grooming gang.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I'm afraid not. I'm afraid they're not going to have to explain it because they've never had to explain any of the inconsistencies. You guys all call yourself pro-life, but you don't care as tens of thousands of Palestinian children, babies, infants right out of the womb get blown up by the Israeli regime with your tax dollars. Do you feel the need to explain that? Nah. You guys straight up rehabilitated Russell Brand's entire career after it came out that he was a full-on and that there was proof of his. And instead of holding him accountable, he knew that he would be able to run to the right-wing conservative Christian family values crowd and rehabilitate his image because he knows that you guys don't actually give a fuck. It's all about aesthetics with the right wing and who they hate. So because Andrew Tate owns the libs, it doesn't matter that he's a con artist. It doesn't matter that he's a literal sex trafficker. The right wing doesn't care. This whole, if you cared about the grooming games in England, none of them care about it. Are you kidding me? None of them care about it. Not only are they not going to explain the discrepancy, they're not going to admit that they actually didn't give a fuck about that either. This was just an excuse for them to deflect attention from Elon Musk getting criticized about the H-1B visa thing, and they thought, shit, we need to really divert attention because MAGA's getting mad about this visa thing. Muslims. Yeah, where's Chaya Raichik in Libs of TikTok? I don't see them calling out his grooming. Of course you're not going to hear that because it was never about that. They don't care. If you ever see Chaya Raichik or Libs of TikTok criticize Andrew Tate, it will be because he criticized Zionism and she's a lunatic Zionist, not because of grooming. Which, by the way, watch Andrew Tate, because as he tries to reinvent himself and pivot to a political career, you will likely see him stop criticizing Zionists because he's going to want to be in a position of power. And in order to get in a position of power, you have to cuddle up to Zionists. So to recap, Ben Shapiro can virtue signal and pretend that the reason why he wants the right to ditch Andrew Tate is because he's actually very concerned about the moral inconsistency of the fact that Andrew Tate is a known groomer and the fact that he's exploited women for his own profit and a bunch of his other scams that he used women for to enrich himself. Ben Shapiro can pretend like that's the reason why he takes issue with Andrew Tate, but it's not. The only reason why Ben Shapiro doesn't like Andrew Tate is because Ben Shapiro is also a lunatic Zionist that puts the Israeli regime above all else, and he doesn't like that in the past Andrew Tate has criticized it. So just understand that. And like what happened with Donald Trump, Ben Shapiro will eventually fall in line. Hear me now, quote me later. He eventually will get right in line as soon as Andrew Tate renounces everything he ever said defending Muslims or defending the Palestinians. Then Ben Shapiro and his eyebrows will get on board and start defending Andrew Tate. Because for Andrew Tate fans and Ben Shapiro and every other fucking conservative in this movement, it was never about grooming. They don't give a fuck about grooming. They don't give a fuck about women. They don't give a fuck about girls or children. It's all just a means to more power. If any of them were actually Christians or actually held any real conservative beliefs, they would be appalled by someone like Andrew Tate, just like they'd be appalled by someone like Trump. but they weren't appalled by Trump. And he pretended to be appalled by Trump, but he's not really appalled by Trump either. And neither is Tucker Carlson or any of the other conservatives that pretend to care about Christianity. None of them are appalled by any of this. CIA op. So circle back in a few months to this video, pin it so that we can come back and talk about how I was right once Ben Shapiro bends the knee. How many groomers have to become huge in conservative politics for you guys to understand that it's the feature, not the bug?